You are listening to the Profitable Content Creator Podcast. This is the place where content creators come to learn how to create profitable content that positions themselves as an authority and grows their online businesses. Get ready to take your content to a whole new level with your host, Kristen Poborsky.
Welcome, everybody. I have a case study today where I want to share with you exactly what we did to grow a podcast from just 19 downloads to over 1,700 downloads a month. And at the same time, we grew its companion YouTube channel to over 14,000 views a month. All organically with no paid ads or no sponsorships. So I want you to grab a pen and paper because you're going to want to write down a lot of the tips that I'm sharing here with you today, because many of the strategies that we use to grow that podcast and the YouTube apply to both channels. So here's a little sneak peek of what I'm going to share with you today. I'm going to start out by sharing the content planning strategy that we use to create viral video and podcast content. Number two, what we do to repurpose the content between both platforms. It's easier than you can imagine, and how we take that content and repurpose it even further and share it out on social media. And at the very end, after I go through these three pieces, I'm going to answer a couple questions that a lot of people have about podcasts. Number one is how much it costs to start a podcast. It's cheaper than you think. And 4 ways that you can monetize your podcast starting on day one. And the last one I'm going to answer is why podcasting is the next marketing frontier. So before I dive into today's content, I'm going to just give you a little background. For those of you who do not know who I am Kristen Poborsky, and I help coaches, healers, and course creators create content that helps them build their audience, get leads, and turn them into paying customers. And about 14 years ago, actually not 14 years ago, actually back in 2014, I discovered the power of content creation. And way back then, everybody was just doing written content. But we found out that once we started creating content that aligned with our clients' offers and services, it really helped to grow their businesses. And fast forward today, after creating thousands and thousands of pieces of content, we've turned it into our online program, Smart Simple Content Creation and Automation, to help busy coaches create content and automate it so that they're not stuck out there posting and posting and posting 24/7 out on social media. And the thing to know these days is that while content creation, the methods and the things that we do remain the same, what's hot now, and we're going to dive into it later, is video and audio content. So let's start by talking about the content planning strategy we use to create viral video and podcast content. And we teach this right inside our 12X programs, which I've got a link to that right below, and also in our Smart Simple Content Marketing program. But it's very simple. The one thing that most people don't do is that they don't align their content with their products and their services. So that's the first thing that we do. And then we have a proprietary method that we teach inside of our 12X program, where we teach you how to go and research. It's very simple, and find hot content that actually your audience wants to hear about and aligns with your services and your programs and your courses. So once we create that and we start creating content, we then measure it, which a lot of people forget to do. And we then go in and see what's working and what's not working. We quit creating content around the topics that nobody cares about, and we start creating more content on the same topics that your audience loves. And the cool thing here is that, you know what, you might be thinking that your audience is going to get sick of you hearing from you about the same thing over and over again, but there are a lot of angles. Once you dive into content creation, you can talk about the same subjects over and over, but there are a lot of angles and a lot of things that you can teach people that you probably teach your clients or do for your clients in a way in your content that's not giving away all your stuff for free, and it leaves them wanting to work with you. So there is a definite method on how to do that, and that's really about getting your messaging right, which we teach this inside the Smart Simple Content Marketing, ways to create desire inside of your content and how to position your content so that you're not giving it all away for free and people say, thank you, I've got enough to go and do it myself. You want to teach people the what, not the how, in a way that it gives them value and opens their mind to seeing that you are the expert at it and that you have the answers that they need to get the results that they want. Okay. So once we create that content strategy and a plan with topics, we then go and create a simple script that we use to, and I'm following one right here, very, very simple script. And then we just sit down and create content in a way so that our clients and our students create a whole month's worth of content. In this episode, I'm going to take it and cut it up into a whole month's worth of content using the Smart Simple Content Creation method, which I teach inside the 12X program. And it cuts it all up into 40 or a month's worth of content. And this outline took me 10 minutes to do, and it's probably going to take me another 10 to 15 minutes to record this episode. So it's really simple. So you end up with a video that you can easily repurpose between YouTube and my podcast. This is exactly what we do to create viral content that we then take and we take the recording, strip out the audio, throw it right on to our podcast platform, which we use Buzzsprout to do that. And then we stream everything over to YouTube, and we're ready to go with content that can go back out into multiple places. And the cool thing is, because I have my podcasting platform set up for myself, it only takes me a couple of minutes to take that audio and upload it, because I've already got an intro and an outro all done for it. And the way that we teach our students and script our content is a way that can be easily repurposed for both platforms and go on the blog and out to social media. So let's dive into step number 3, how we take that content and repurpose it and share it on social media. See, one of the biggest mistakes is that people don't repurpose it to their blog, and they do not take their podcast episodes, their YouTube episodes, and keep sharing those again and again out on social media. So what we do is we share those podcast episodes, we write up short posts, and we put it into our bucket of content that we share again and again out on social media. We do the same thing with the videos and with the blog posts, because you just never know when someone is going to see your content and it's going to be at the right time. So it is smart to repurpose your content and to keep sharing it out there on social media. And for those of you who want to know, we use a tool called Meet Edgar, where we can actually build those buckets and never have to reschedule things out on social media. It is amazing. And we teach that inside the Smart Simple Content Marketing and Automation program. And it really saves a ton of time. So now you know how we create viral content that we easily repurpose. We have a content planning strategy, what we do to get it out there on both platforms. We use a simple script, and then we take that content and push it out onto the blog and start creating posts for social media that we set up and put out on Meet Edgar that get pushed out again and again out on social media. So, for those of you who really want to get started repurposing and creating content using the 12x content creation method, I have it all up and running where I teach you how to use that. You can go and check it out in the show notes. And if you're not ready, I also have the Profitable Content Creators Roadmap, which gives you the steps to creating profitable content that you can actually leverage out on multiple platforms, out on social media, and multiple evergreen content platforms such as YouTube, podcasting, and blogging. So let's dive into today's questions. So one of the biggest questions that I get is, how much does it cost to start a podcast? Okay. So really, you must host your podcast out on a platform. And we use Buzzsprout because it is a very cost-effective platform. And once you get it all set up, it's pretty much as simple as uploading and creating a simple graphic on Canva. And you've got your intro and outro all done. And it costs $12 a month. I think there's a free version as well. But the problem with that one is that your content will disappear after a certain amount of time. And I can tell you from experience, I started my podcast 6 months ago at this recording. People are still listening to my first couple episodes out on my podcast. So it is really a testimonial to the fact that podcast content really is evergreen and people are searching for your content out there. And it is a great way to get in front of a bigger audience. Okay. So for $12 a month, I either record a Loom video or I record it using my smartphone. And the only other thing that you might want to get is I'm using a microphone here, but a lot of times I will just use a lavalier, and you can get one on Amazon, and it's probably less than $20. So again, it's not very much money. Anybody can do it, and it is a great way to leverage and get in front of a bigger audience, which I'm going to answer that in more detail when I get into question number 3. But let's go into monetizing a podcast. So one of the great things about having a podcast is that you can actually monetize it from day one, which, you know, on YouTube, you've got to be able to monetize from ads. On YouTube, you've got to get a certain number of subscribers and downloads before you can do that. But with a podcast, and you can actually use some of these techniques over on your YouTube channel to actually help you monetize it as well. But there's 4 ways that you can do it. One is by creating simple ads for affiliate content, which you put inside your podcast. Now, if I was going to do it out on YouTube, I would probably do a separate video on my recommended tools that I use, and then put a bunch of affiliate links inside there for that. The second way is that you can also create ads where you sell your courses, and you can put that right inside your podcast, or you can actually just incorporate that right inside of your podcast episode. The next one is paid sponsorships. You can do that from day one to actually go out and advertise on other podcasts as well. And that will get you more downloads and more people to check out your courses and your podcast. Now, the fourth way, it's a little bit longer, but I always include something inside of my podcast that will help me build my list. And while you're building your list, you always should be pushing a offer to them at the back end of any freebie that you send to them. So there you have it. 4 ways that you can monetize your podcast: affiliate content, selling your courses, doing paid sponsorships, and list building. So let's dive into question number 3, because this is very exciting to me, because I really believe and see that podcasting is one of the next still accessible marketing frontier, as opposed to platforms such as Facebook and Instagram and TikTok. As you know, I'm always trying to let you know about the latest ways to deliver your content and grow your business. So this is where I feel so strongly about video podcasting. And I mean by that, YouTube and podcasting. But let's go into why the math around why podcasting is such a real opportunity for people here. And I'm going to go through the math with you. So there are over 1.9 billion websites right now, okay? And in the United States alone, there are over 31 million active bloggers posting at least once a month. And contrast, there are only 2.4 million podcasts and 383.7 million podcast listeners right now. So if you do the math here, you're competing with only 2.4 million podcasts rather than 31 million active bloggers. And there is an audience just sitting out there waiting for you to bring your content there of 380, almost 400 million podcast listeners. And here's the thing. People come to podcasts and YouTube to search for and get answers, not just for entertainment, but more often to get answers and information to their questions and to get help solving a problem. And that's the case on YouTube. So one of the strategies that we use with searching for and creating content around popular content is that people are already interested in those topics. They're searching for it, and we're capitalizing on what are hot topics. So that's the key to going viral, and why you can really reach those people easier than it is to actually compete out on blogs these days, Instagram and Facebook and TikTok. Plus, the thing is, the content out there is evergreen, and people, like I said, are still watching and listening to my first episode that I did back in 2000, or back in 6 months ago. And I also know for a fact, with my other clients and students that are creating podcasts, some of their older episodes and some of their older YouTube videos are viral and still getting them tens of thousands of views and downloads a month. And it's not just only the brand new stuff. So here's my thoughts for you is, if you're considering and you're frustrated with not getting the visibility that you want with Instagram or Facebook or TikTok or Twitter or LinkedIn, I really, really suggest that you capitalize now with 2.4 million podcasts and 383 million podcast listeners. There is a real demand for you to get your content out there in a podcast and repurposed out there. It's really a no-brainer, and it is a smart marketer will do that for just another step in the same time it takes them to create a video content like I'm doing here today. So if you're ready to create a podcast, I have an offer for you today. I have the Podcasting Made Simple program. It's only $47. And inside of it, I have 5 different modules. Module 1 is where we walk you through how to set up your podcast. It can be overwhelming. And if you're doing it all by yourself, you just do not have to do it alone. In module 1, we take the guesswork out of setting up your podcast, and you've got all of the easy steps right in there. You'll know exactly what to create, and what to get ready before you even go to set up your podcast on Buzzsprout. And when you use our methodology, you will take the guesswork out of creating a show that's going to attract the right listeners that align with your business offerings and courses. Okay, in module 2, we go into planning and recording. So again, I've talked about this before, high quality, value packed episode, whether you're doing it for YouTube or a podcast, it doesn't require an expensive setup or hours and hours of content creation. I give you my exact process and explain the difference between solo shows and interviews, as well as give you a simple plug and play template that you can use over and over again. After that, we go through publishing. We walk you through how to publish your podcast on both YouTube and Buzzsprout. It takes me 10 minutes or less to take whatever I do on YouTube and push it out there on Buzzsprout. And same with getting my content out on YouTube. It takes me 15 to 20 minutes to create a month's worth of content for that. And I give you a customizable plug and play Canva graphics, time and saving templates so that you can easily do your show notes for your podcast and your YouTube channel at the same time. Okay, so once you've got that all done, we go into module 4, all the best practices to launch and keep growing your show. I give you the exact plan on how to launch it and include my tested tips that will help you gain traction and how to get people to subscribe and leave reviews for your show. So you'll have that easy plan in place so you know exactly what to do to launch and keep your podcast growing. And then in module 5, I show you exactly those 4 ways that I covered in that. In question number 2, how to monetize and how to do it from day 1. And I even give you a plug and play script that will help you create podcast ads just like a pro. So all of this for $47. I've got the link right down in the notes. And I hope you join me in Smart Simple Podcast Made Simple. So thank you for listening. And if you like today's show, please click like and subscribe.
You've been listening to the Profitable Content Creator Podcast, where content creators go to learn how to take their content creation to the next level. If you love the Profitable Content Creator Podcast, we'd love for you to subscribe, rate, and give us a review on iTunes. Until next time.